Hey everybody, how's it going? Today is the 7th of January, 2019. My name is Derek, author and webmaster of a website called Gematrinator.com. Gematria, the ancient occulted practice of coding letters or numbers into letters. This practice is actually very simple, something that originated in the original Hebrew, Greek languages called Gematria or Gematria. In Greek, this practice was known as isopsephy. And it turns out the English alphabet is still using this numeric system. We start in the top left with the alphabetic order. We call this English ordinal. Each letter numbered 1 through 26 relative to its position in the alphabet. The reduction method uses the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. And this method is also called Pythagorean gematria. Both methods can then be reversed to create two complementary methods called reverse ordinal and reverse reduction. This language is used in accordance with dates on the calendar, as I will show you. And once you start paying attention to this language, you realize something very, very strange is going on. Best case scenario, we're all living in an organic matrix in which things naturally happen by the numbers, and to a great extent, this is true. Worst case scenario, this code is being manipulated by a global elite that may be murdering people by the numbers. And when we talk about murder by numbers, think about how the Police made a song called Murder by Numbers and released it in the year 1983. Well, it just so happens that in the language of Gematria, the word murder has a value of 83. Today we're going to talk about the death of Australian model Annalise Braakensiek. This woman was born on December 9th, 1972, was recently found dead this week, her date of death being listed as January 6th. And the dates on which these deaths are reported are of utmost significance. Before I get into the actual numbers themselves, I want to explain a reason why I use some of the techniques I do. This code of letters and numbers is rooted in the Bible, especially the first 5 books of the Bible. Remember, the 4th book of the Old Testament is called Numbers. Well, in the Gospels in the New Testament, 3 of the 4 Gospels describe an event very similar to a solar eclipse taking place while Jesus is crucified. And as I've been uncovering on this channel for many, many months, well over a year now, deaths of celebrities, actors, musicians, all seem to be in accordance with solar eclipses, particularly total solar eclipses. And it's not always every single one, but there's almost always a riddle there. The most recent total solar eclipse to this day was still the Great American Eclipse of August 21st, 2017. When we measure from that date to the date of Annalise Braakensiek's death, we find it was a span of exactly 72 weeks. And this number sticks out for a couple of reasons. Not only was Annalise born in the year 72, but her name has reduction gematria of 72. This method, again, reducing each double-digit number to a single digit from the alphabetic order. Another reason the number 72 is significant for eclipses is because the next total solar eclipse falls in July of this year, on the date July 2nd, or 7/2, as it's written here in the United States. So instead of measuring to the most recent eclipse, let's measure to this next one. And using the same measurement techniques with the end date included, we find that Braakensiek died 178 days before the next total solar eclipse. Why is this so interesting? Well, in the media, there have been comparisons with her death to the death of another famous Australian TV personality, Charlotte Dawson, who passed away back on February 22nd of 2014. Here's her Wikipedia page on the left side of your screen. Well, we're talking about this 178 in relation to the next eclipse. We'll look at the name Charlotte Dawson. Using the standard alphabetic order, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, through Z is 26, the name Charlotte Dawson has a numeric value of 178. But here's where it gets really spooky. If you measure from Charlotte Dawson's death on February 22nd of 2014 to Annalise Braakensiek's death, with the end date included once again, It's exactly 1,780 days apart. Now, numerology, as I always say, these zeros in the results can be ignored. So this reflects a 178, just like the name Charlotte Dawson, just like how another Australian personality died 178 days before the next total solar eclipse. This practice of letters and numbers is drawn from the Kabbalah, by the way. And notice how in the reverse alphabetic order, Kabbalah equals 178. So this is a significant number to begin with, and perhaps this is the reason why it's attributed with these deaths. Another number that sticks out with this, in Charlotte Dawson in the reverse order, is 227. This is a number that's central to the Eclipse crucifixion code that is drawn from the Bible. Using the alphabetic order, Eclipse crucifixion code equals 227. In fact, the phrase Jesus crucifixion sums to 227 in the reverse order. 227, a number whose significance drawn from the Hebrew language. The phrase total eclipse in Hebrew even has a numeric value of 227. And if you want to learn a little bit more about this 227, consider that 22 divided by 7 is the smallest equation you can use on a standard calculator to get the digits 3.14. And 3.14 are the first three digits of pi, which is central to the mathematics of the circle. Using the alphabetic order, when you write out 22 divided by 7, you also get 314 in the alphabetic order, just like pi. And really, this is because this entire language is built around this code and has been for hundreds of years. Only recently has this secret begun to come to light to the general public. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit more to this, not just the eclipse alignments. This woman was born on December 9th of 72. This makes her 46 years at the time of her death. And if you follow my work, you probably recognize 46 as a very significant number to death rituals. In the reduction method, the word sacrifice has a value of 46. The significance of this number, also coming from the Bible, Genesis chapter 46 actually begins with a sacrifice. And in Hebrew, the words kill and murder both have an ordinal value of 46. The date on which Annalise died at 46 years old, 1 plus 6 plus 20 plus 19 equals 46. Annalise Braakensiek was a writer for a publication called The Carousel. As you can see here, displayed on the Facebook page on the left, The Carousel paying tribute to the death of Annalise here on their timeline. And how interesting is it that the carousel sums to 46 in Gematria just as well. Earlier I mentioned how this death is related to Charlotte Dawson, the other famous Australian TV personality who died at a young age. That woman died at the age of 47. And if we plug in the date of her birth and death, dying on February 22nd of 2014, we actually find that she died a span of exactly 46 days before her birthday. So again, we're talking about the word sacrifice and how it sums to 46. Another extremely significant cipher to this study is called Jewish Gematria. This is based on the ancient Latin alphabetic order. The more modern English characters that were not originally in Latin are at the end of this cipher, and it's structured more closely to the ancient Hebrew Gematria and Greek isopsephy charts. In Jewish Gematria, the word sacrifice equals 206. And this stands out because the name Analise also has a value of 206. The date that Annalise died, 1 plus 6 plus 19, a calculation method we call standard numerology, this sums to 26. Another thing I'm very consistent with is when news stories occur in other nations, you want to measure to that nation's Independence Day. I just did this in my very last video from yesterday, explaining how a story from Poland was coordinated with their Independence Day. Well, Australia celebrates its Independence Day on the date January 26th. January 26th is exactly 2 weeks, 6 days after Annalise's death. The word kill also with exception gematria of 26. And the reason I actually measured to Australia's Independence Day in the first place, of course, the death did occur there, but also notice how the name Annalise sums to 141 in the reverse alphabetic order. Remember, this death was in relation to the woman named Charlotte, who also has the 141 in reverse. The country of Australia shares this 141 in reverse gematria. This number also connected to 347, the Hebrew value for sacrifice. And while we're talking about this, the significance of the word sacrifice, the date January 6th on which this sacrifice occurred has gematria that lines up with the word sacrifice and the phrase ritual sacrifice. 62, 73, 170, 154, all in the base methods with the S exception included. One more thing that sticks out about this death, Annalise Braakensiek dying on the 6th of January. In Australia, this date is written 6/1, and her death was in relation to Charlotte Dawson, whose name sums to 61 in the reduction method. I probably mentioned the 227 with Charlotte Dawson, but it's also worth mentioning the 83 in reverse reduction. Remember, murder equals 83. Murder by numbers released in 83. The name Dawson also has 76 and 86 gematria, numbers found in the phrase blood sacrifice. So whether or not that's overkill to an already obvious ritual, I guess that's for you to decide. But my job is just to throw the numbers at you, show that these patterns are absolutely occurring, and asking you whether or not this thing is happening naturally. I have my doubts that it does, and never look to the police for the answers on this. This particular article that I linked to in my blog says police say there are no suspicious circumstances surrounding the 46-year-old's death. Well, unfortunately for us, at the highest levels, that's what the police function as, is a gang protecting us from the truth. The truth that they don't believe we can handle. So that's going to do it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, this type of information has been censored on YouTube, and it's easy to see why. It's because when you understand this knowledge, things become much clearer. Things fall into a little more focus. Events that seem confusing, when they line up by the numbers, you realize some sort of manipulation is happening behind the scenes. Who's doing it? Who's responsible? I don't have all the answers, but we're definitely onto something. And the reason I've been saying like, share, and subscribe lately is because it's been very clear to me that YouTube has altered its algorithm for searches. Whereas previously, when I would make a video on a recent celebrity death, it could score anywhere from 10 to 300,000 views, right? My video on Dolores O'Riordan last year, 70,000 views. Fredo Santana, 80,000 views. And then my most famous video on this channel, which is the one that I had to create after my first channel got deleted, has about 300,000 views. That was the death of XXXTentacion. However, over the past few months, I've noticed that the videos are not getting anywhere near those views and are almost never going up over 1,000. So if we want this work to spread, if we want to be honest about the truth and truth-seeking, then we're going to have to take it on our own shoulders to share this, because YouTube's not going to be helping us out any further. All right, everybody. Peace and love. God bless. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Adios.